Hello students, this is Kyle with McGraw-Hill. Today I'm going to be doing a demo of simnet for Office 2010 so that you can become familiar with all the various assignment types that you will see in your course. Before we get started, I want to point out that simnet is a simulation software, so you'll notice that every time we open up a lesson, SimPath, or exam, it takes just a second for it to load. But that's because we don't require that you actually have Office 2010 on your machine, nor do we ask that you download any files. So it's very light and easy on your computer, and I think you'll find that that's a nice benefit. So let's talk about the actual environment. We've got three different layouts that we can look at. So I've got the tiles view up now, and that's the one that I prefer. You're going to have rectangles for each of the assignments. They'll be color coded, so lessons are purple, SimPath yellow, and exam is lavender. If you click on the assignments, they'll open up, and we'll do that in just a moment. You've got your calendar view. This will go month by month, showing the calendar. The same color coding for lesson, exam, and SimPath types are prevalent, but you'll see that the lesson one is available for the entire month, whereas the exam is only available from the 11th until the 20th. Same for the SimPath. And in order to open up one of these assignments, you just double click. All right, and then finally we've got the list. This is more traditional. You've got your color coding on the left hand side, but it's a very small icon. Then the title of the assignment and some minimal information in the middle, as well as the due date and time on the right. Okay, so I'm going to click on tiles. One other thing I'll show you is if you ever want to search, because odds are your instructor is going to have, 50 to 100 assignments in your course, not just 3 like in my simple course. If you ever want to search for a certain assignment, you can just click in the filter box, and I'll type in exam. You'll see that everything that doesn't have exam in the title goes away. Okay, and also by default the show all button is clicked. That will show every assignment type. If you just want to see the lessons or the exams or the SimPaths, you can click on any of those file types and it will just show you those assignments. I'm going to click show all again. You'll note that I didn't click on SimBooks. That's because this is only available for Office 2013 simnet, and I didn't click on projects because you won't be using those in your simnet course. Alright, so let's open up lesson, and you'll see that when I click on a lesson, it's going to break out the 5 different components that make up this lesson. So I'll see them at the bottom, and it also tells us on the right hand side if we have completed any of those pieces of the lesson. In this case I haven't. I've got my due date in the upper right hand side, so I know when this assignment's due, and I just click take lesson. Alright, so it'll take just a second for the lesson to load up. And once it does, I click Start Lesson. And you'll notice that you're able to toggle between each of the different components of the lesson. We don't force you into going through the lesson a certain way, though a lot of times your instructor will set the course up so that it makes sense to start at the beginning and work your way through. So you want to keep that in mind. So then the other thing that you'll note is each of the various components of the lesson has the same look and feel, same layout. And that layout is teach me, show me, let me try. So those are the 3 terms that we throw around in every single lesson. So teach me is just going to be information that lets you know how to successfully execute the task. So for opening a document, it says that I have 5 steps. Then at the bottom, it's got a nice graphic with some annotation to let me know exactly what I need to do in order to open a document. Then next up, we click Show Me, and I'm allowed to play an animation that walks through the process.
To open an existing document, first click the File tab to open Backstage View.
Notice that I can turn the sound on and off by clicking the volume button, and if I click CC, it will actually put the text on the screen. So if you need that, then click on the CC.
Select the document name in the large list box. Click the Open button in the dialog box.
Okay, so it walked me through how to open a document. Now we go into Let Me Try, and this is where the simulated environment gives you a task. So open the open dialog box is my task, and it allows you to complete it. You've got the option to show hints for certain types, so if you click Show Hint, it'll give you a little information. Alright. And now the next step says that it wants me to open the file HH Newsletter Final. And I'm going to, I know that in the Teach Me portion, it was saying that I needed to select the file and then click Open. Just to show you that simnet is flexible in the Let Me Try phase, I'm going to double click and you'll see that it still gives me the correct check mark. And that's because simnet allows for multiple paths for proper execution of the task. So if you've previously learned how to do some of these tasks, you can still perform them in the same way. Alright, so now I've completed the opening a document portion of the lesson, and you'll see that I've got a little check mark here. One other thing that we'll also point out is down here you've got the Help tab if you have any help questions that you need assistance with. You've got the font size. You can adjust the font size accordingly. You can print off portions of the lesson. And then we've also got tips and tricks, tell me more, and try this. So these will vary based on the topic that you're looking into, but this is just a great way to get more tries and more information about the areas that you're looking into as you work through the lesson. So now that I'm finished with this portion and I want to get out of the lesson, I'm going to click Close. Alright, it tells me I'm going to end the lesson. I click the End Lesson button, and now when we come back out here, I've got the green check mark next to opening a document. I still need to go through and do the remaining 4 topics before I'm finished. Alright, so I'll click back to the assignment list, and next up we'll go into the sim path. So the sim path is going to take a set of topics that your instructor chooses. It's going to give you a pretest on those topics, okay? So the pretest is just going to allow you to demonstrate mastery or a lack of knowledge for the topics that are being covered. And then based on the results of that pretest, step 2 is going to generate a personalized lesson for you. So in step 2, you open up the lesson and complete it. And once you've gone through the Teach Me, Show Me, Let Me Try, then you come back into the sim path and you do step 3, which is taking a post-test, which will allow you to demonstrate mastery. So let's click Take Pretest, and you'll notice that once this loads, it has a little less information than the lesson, and that's because this is a pre-test. We want you to be able to prove that you know or don't know this information coming in so that we can create a lesson plan that is customized to your needs. So first it says apply the bright green highlight to the selected text. I'll complete that one correctly. Alright, next up it wants me to bold Dead Sea Salt Scrub. Alright, so I click bold and I'm correct. Finally, it says to add a footnote to the document. So I'm just going to close the document. It gives me the incorrect notice. Then I'm done with my exam, so I end it. Alright, so you get a little feedback right away. It gives you a score, which your instructor may or may not count. It gives you the history, so this is what you did while you were in the simulator. And it tells you what you got right and what you got wrong. Alright, so I'll go back. And now step 2 is opened up. It tells me that I'm going to need a lesson on at least one of the parts of the sim path, and I'm assuming that that's going to be the footnotes portion, since that's what I was marked wrong for. So it loads up. And I'll click Start Lesson, and it's going to be a lesson on inserting footnotes and endnotes. And it's going to be just like a standard lesson. I go into the Teach Me, Show Me, and Let Me Try. Then when I'm done, I close out. I click End Lesson. Then I would click out to assignment details, and if I were to have completed this entire lesson, Take Post-Test would now be highlighted in blue, and I'd be able to take the post-test to demonstrate mastery. Okay, so that's the sim path. The final assignment type that you'll see is exam. And now that you know lessons and sim paths, this is going to be really easy. So we come in, it says I've got 30 minutes, it tells me how many attempts I'm allowed, how many questions are on, so I get a lot of basic information, and I'll click Take Exam. Alright, so it'll load up. I'll click Start Exam. Alright, the clock is on. You'll note that I can see that I've got 3 questions. Your instructor has the option to either lock this down so you can not toggle, or allow you to toggle back and forth between the questions. So in this instance, I'm allowed to toggle. If I click this little button, it's going to list all the questions and a description. Okay, so I'm just going to answer some of these questions really quickly. Open up the Microsoft Word 2010 from the Start menu. Alright, so I come in and perform that task. I'm correct. Change the zoom level to 80%. So I would just come in. Oops, I did that wrong. And next up it says open the area where you can access the save command. Alright, and I was wrong on that. So I end the exam, and it looks like that I got 1 correct. I was incorrect on the remaining 2. So I can either take this information and just exit the file, or I've got the option to create a custom lesson. So if I do so, we can call this exam 1.1 post-test lesson. Alright, and this will create a lesson based on everything that I didn't answer correctly on the test. So this is a nice piece, a nice way for you to help yourself. You might not count towards anything on the test, but at least you can make sure that you never miss this piece again. So if I open this, I'm assuming that it's going to show me where the start command is, as well as zooming for the document. Okay. Alright, so those are the different assignment types that you're going to need to be familiar with in simnet. The only other thing that you'll probably want to use is the grades function. This is where you can go to get all of your information, your scores on the previously completed assignments. If you click the little arrow, you can get more drop-down information. Alright, hope that this helps, and wish you luck in your simnet class. Have a good day.